Do you guys want to see some of the coolest aquascapes I've ever seen at a trade show? These scapes are beautiful, and I'm going to show you every single one that is here at Aquashella. What is going on, shrimp keepers? Today we're at Aquashella and we're at literally the most amazing booth at this whole trade show. In my opinion, it's the Oase booth. They have some beautiful aquascape tanks and I want to show you guys what they have today. So let's dive right into it. All right, so the first tank we're looking at, this is probably about, I'd say 30-40 gallon tank. It's got some really cool green tiger barbs in there, which I think are absolutely stunning. We need to carry these on the website because they look so good in person. It looks like they aquascaped this with dragonstone, some type of wood that I'm not 100% sure of. Looks like some Monte Carlo. We got some water sprayed over here. I'm not sure what this plant is in the corner, but that looks really good. And you know, just a really simple scape. And one thing that we're thinking about doing at this show, since we have the gallery now, is we're thinking about purchasing some of these tanks after show's over because we have an empty van here, and taking some of these back to the gallery and setting them up because, I mean, how cool would it be to have this tank in our gallery? This is just a beautiful, beautiful tank. I love the little intermingled places that the fish can hide. Frank, if you look up here, there's actually a really cool area in the front where it's like a crevice, like a canyon, and there's a lot of like wood coming over the top. Like, I love how fish could swim through that. And man, this tank is just absolutely beautiful. All right, next up, this is probably, I want to say like a 20-gallon cube, maybe something like that. I don't know, it's a really pretty cube. I think it's really interesting because they only have it full maybe 6 inches of water, maybe a little bit more. It's a really interesting scape, and this is really fun because you could do a lot of terrestrial plants up on the driftwood and have like moss growing up there. So really cool thing about this tank is these tubes, and I've never seen this before. So this must be like an Oase specific filter, but the tubes go so low so you can actually run a tank only that full. And that's something super unique. I love the idea of how they have the driftwood coming out of the tank, but it's still within the tank, not necessarily coming out the top. And so you could do something really cool with a tank like this. All right, so next up, this is a tank that I really wanted to buy, but they already sold it. So, you know, it always happens like that. And no wonder why it already sold, because this thing is just absolutely beautiful. The driftwood alone makes the tank. And what I love is they have this like really cool fern up here. And I don't even know what type of fern that is. Amanda last night was telling me. But just a really cool fern, grows above the water, can grow on the driftwood because the driftwood's gonna suck up that water, in a super like black water setup. And what black water means is it basically means tannins are in the water. It makes the water nice and soft. And Frank, if you get a picture of between the tank, there's right between the two driftwoods, there's like a ton of fish in there. And then you see them, they're like all scattered around the tank. I mean, it's just absolutely stunning. And like, I can't tell you how gorgeous this driftwood is. Like that one piece of driftwood, how it comes out of the tank over here. I mean, it's just phenomenal. So I love the footprint of this tank. It reminds me of like those 40-gallon low boys that everyone has. Just a really cool aquascape and a super beautiful tank that I wish I could take home. All right, so one thing that they do cool here is right in the middle of the booth, they do a lot of nano scapes. Now these are the ones that I'm super interested in because I love nano. So first up, we got a bookshelf tank. This is probably a 12-gallon, I'm thinking, by the size of it. And you can see they have the tiny little microfish in there. It looks like some type of raspberry. No, it actually looks like a white cloud, like some type of white cloud, maybe a tetra, I'm not sure. I've never seen them before, but super pretty. They got the broken stone in there. It looks like they're using the elephant skin stone and a lot of booze. I don't know what this plant is. It's really interesting. Some type of Anubias sword? I don't know, but it's really cool. It might even be a crypt, who knows? But really pretty. Now, my favorite ones are gonna be on this side, but we'll go to this one first. This is actually done by, I forget the name of the creator or the name of the scaper, Adam Rabi. He's the #3 aquascaper in the world. And so it's really cool how he did this. There's a little waterfall coming up with some moss on the driftwood. Just a really, really cool tank. And you can see there's a lot of like Anubias Nana Petite in there. There's some dwarf hairgrass, some stone. Real simple scape, but really effective. Now, this side is where I absolutely love these tanks. Me and Amanda were down here yesterday. We did a little short on, I'm sure you guys saw that. But these three tanks kind of all go together. The driftwood kind of links them together, which makes them really fun. Like literally the driftwood starts there and comes all the way over to the smallest tank. And the first tank has, this tank has the orange pumpkin in it, or the orange sun-kissed. Really small tank, so like I probably wouldn't get that one because that's a ton of maintenance, but beautiful scape for such a nano aquarium. I gotta love the shrimp. But just so you guys know, small tanks like this is probably 1.5 gallons. Really hard to take care of because of a lot of evaporation. But if you're willing to do the work, you'll definitely reap the rewards of a tank like that. This guy is my favorite tank of the nanoscapes. This has the elephant skin stone again, a really cool piece of driftwood that comes above the tank. Again, some more shrimp in there. It looks like black rose, or maybe really dark fantasy blues. Has some pogostemon, hellfry, some looks like a rare crip, and some anubias. So really cool scape. Again, some plants coming out the top that make it really pop. And then the last tank, this is a betta tank, and I love the scape that they did here. I love it from this angle, coming from the side, because you can really see, you know, the different rocks that they use, the different type of driftwood. And there's a betta in there, I just don't know where it is. It's probably hiding in the back. But the only reason I wouldn't get this tank is because the filter is behind all the rocks in the substrate and the driftwood. So to change out the filter, it'd be a lot of work. But beautiful tank, awesome design, awesome aquascape. And then over here, we got my buddy Zach. He used to be with the WPA back in the day, Aquatic Experience. That was his show, and it was a great show. Wish they would have stayed in Chicago, but you know, it is what it is. Now he's working with like 10 other companies doing big things. And so yeah. But anyway, coming up next, this is probably an 8-gallon, something like that. So Frank, this is something that I really like. They do the glass like this. They actually cut the glass at an angle, so it's not two flat pieces of glass coming together. It's like angled glass, so it fits together perfect, and it creates a better seam. So I think it's really cool when you start getting nano tanks with that on it. But anyway, this one has a bunch of boost in it again, a lot of driftwood, some really cool snails. Like that snail was awesome. I think he said it's the pagoda snails. I don't know, those are tiny. I've never seen them like that before. There's some ram's horn snails in there, but again, cool aquascape, a little too busy for my liking, but still very pretty nonetheless. Now, this tank is my absolute favorite. I think this is so cool. So one, I love the footprint of this tank. It's probably 12 inches by 12 inches by only 6 inches tall. And they got the nice little waterfall, they got the fog machine, and they got all these little people on here, which is so stinking cool. I love the moss that they chose. Just a really simple aquascape. You can put some snails in there, you can put 3 or 4 shrimp in there, and it's just a really, really pretty one. The waterfall will add a lot of oxygen, I can't even say it. It will add a lot of oxygen in the water. That's a simple way to put it. But yeah, so this is a really cool aquascape. I think that's good. I'm really gonna try to go home with that one just because I love the little people in it. And then this one is fun. So this is Tyler's favorite, which is one of our employees. I think it's really, it's a fun way to show, like, this is the 80s aquascape back in the day. Like, you got the crazy colors, you got the volcano with some lights in it, you got the skeleton pooping with no toilet sign next to him and toilet paper. Like, just a really fun tank, and really gets the kids involved, stuff like that, and just really fun to look at. And then moving over here, they got a ton of other tanks too. So we'll actually go around the side. Now this guy is super interesting because I've never seen this type of stone color before. So I don't know what they're using in there. It must be like an Oase specific substrate, but really cool. And even like the type of food, it looks like little leaves, like oak leaves. I think that's crazy. So really cool aquascape, just really simple, tons of boost, tons of low plants. It looks like some type of stem plant. Not 100% sure, but real simple. This cool setup, like the stand and everything, is really cool. And then next up, this is a blackwater tank, which I absolutely love. So this is what you would think of finding in like the Amazon. And it actually has a really cool gourami back there. I'm not sure, maybe a honey gourami. And just a lot of, it looks like spider wood, a lot of leaves, some dragonstone. And so this one's really cool because there's a lot of nooks and crannies that fish could hide. So this would be a great tank for like plecos, Not necessarily corridors, but some, you know, gouramis. Obviously it's really good because the pop of color really clashes with the scape. And so I think it's awesome. This one, I really would try to go home with this one because I love this footprint. This again, probably a 12-gallon bookshelf tank, and just a really pretty cool blackwater scape. All right, next up, this one has the elephant skin stone, which I think is absolutely wonderful. We recently brought this on to flipaquatics and selling it on our website, but just a really cool stone, a lot of character in it. The elephant skin stone is just, there's so much character in that stone. It looks amazing. I love the plants they chose in this. It's very simple, and this is literally just a thick piece of spider wood, like super thick. And you can see it coming out the top. And so a very simple aquascape, but you can see it makes such an impact when you put it together the way they did. And I love the little lily tubes, which are just made out of glass, which break pretty easy. So that's the only negative side to them, but they look super crisp in an aquascape like this. This is probably like a 20-gallon or 15-gallon or 20-gallon tank. So really cool. Love this tank. The last tank that they have is probably like a 40-gallon tank. I'm not sure what type of wood this is. The one thing to know about driftwood is the longer it's in the tank, it all kind of starts looking the same. So I love how they broke up. It looks like cerulean stone, and they put a lot of crypts in there. Looks like Walichi over here, some Monte Carlo, some more crypts. And yeah, this stuff's gorgeous. The Rotella Walichi, and man, just a really cool scape. Again, the more nooks and crannies you have, the better the aquascape, because then the fish can really find their place. They can hide easier, and it just makes for a happier, healthier ecosystem. For shrimp specifically, if you're trying to keep shrimp with fish, they need hiding spaces like this. And so again, just a really cool aquascape. So that's why, in my opinion, Oase created something really cool with their booth here. They did a lot of aquascapes. They brought a lot of big aquascapers in. Just an awesome booth. Always a cool place to come and film. I wish I was able to film with some of the other shows because they've had some really cool aquascapes, but I'm glad we finally got some footage here. Huge shout out to my man Frank behind the camera because he makes this stuff happen. So just loving this booth. If you guys have never been to an aquashella before, make sure you get to one because you get to see stuff like this in person, and you actually have an opportunity to take one of these tanks home because they're always selling the full tank. They're raffling off, they're doing something. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. As always, God bless. We'll catch you on the flip side.